to Fintech Fridays. We are off and running this year. And as I've said a bunch of times here, I love doing these podcasts where I get to meet cool new people, new products, and new companies. And Will, you check the box on all three of those. You and we've had one brief conversation ahead of today's conversation. So I'm excited to meet you and learn about Snap. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Brian. Looking forward to it.
So let's dive right in. You're the CEO and co-founder at Snap. You guys are doing some cool things around the mortgage manufacturing process. Tell us, what is Snap at a high level, what you guys do, and then we'll start drilling into some of those more detailed areas.
Yeah, at its core, Snap is a data and workflow company. We look to build products in the mortgage space to make lives easier, like workflows inside existing legacy systems easier, faster, cheaper, and primarily focus on driving costs down. On our core focus right now is a lot of the commodity products in mortgage right now, re-engineering those products and delivering those savings with the modern technical stacks that are out there to the end user.
So let's peel that down one layer. So give us an example of one of those commoditized products that you're working in today and what that looks like.
Yeah, I'll start. We're primarily focused on flood right now today.
Yep.
I can give a brief background on how we ended up there. It might give some context.
That'd be great. Yeah.
We started the company in California in 2017, primarily going after what's called the natural hazard disclosure market. That's more targeted towards the real estate segment. And at that time, it's dominated by legacy players, incumbents, title companies. But me as an entrepreneur, my first startup had failed, and I was looking for my next play. And I came across like settlement services, and I was like really intrigued by the idea, like, hey, everyone in real estate that's making good money is on the financial services side on the settlement statement. And I found our first settlement product. It was called a natural hazard report. And all you had to tell me, it was required by law, and it was cost $100. And I knew I could automate it, aggregate the data. And we grew that business over the last, we're still doing it. We have about 15% market share in California on that product line. But at its core is all the data assets that go into that. That includes your flood data, fire, earthquake, property tax data. And in order to get the margin profile we wanted, we had to own those data assets and control our own destiny by maintaining our own data assets that way. When we launched that, we were actually buying flood certificates from existing providers on the market. And we were frustrated by the cost and the level of service that we were receiving, particularly when those properties were in flood zones. And we just thought we could do it better. And I knew that the market in mortgage was there. And that's how we got into like building our first flood product from the ground up. One for internal use. And then as we got deeper into it, it was just identifying the market opportunity. And similar to real estate, you had a lot of legacy systems, but you had to integrate with them to make it easier. And so when I saw Encompass, that was like our first integration into the market.
So if we think about flood for a second and what you're describing, I'm thinking about myself as a lender. I'm on Encompass, and when I'm ordering, a flood cert, is your product now that, is the output of your product that flood cert, or is it a different? Am I thinking about it wrong?
Yeah, it's the flood cert at the core.
Yeah,
it's what you get today. Our aim is to make it faster, better, cheaper, all the above. Build that baseline distribution, like baseline product, and excel in customer service and relationships and everything you need to be successful in this business.
Right.
with a hyper focus on integrations, uh, particularly Encompass and MSP has been our primary focus.
Well, those are two good ones to focus on. It takes you like 65% of the market, right?
That's the goal.
Right, right, right. So if you started in flood, like what's the vision beyond that particular product? Now, where do you know what are your eyes on next? Where do you go next with this?
There's a few markets that we're excited about. One is the fraud market, building more better fraud tools. Um, More on the as climate change is here to stay. Disasters are only becoming more high risk. Building a lot more innovation. I see a lot of big opportunity, particularly on the servicing side,
Yeah,
where people are sitting on millions of loans. Which loans are most at risk? And really building like that next layer of analytics on top of that to give those investors, hey, which of my loans are most at risk in a very modern looking format that's easy to digest, um, that doesn't exist today. And so that
right.
those two product segments are exciting to us right now.
And then your client is typically a mortgage company for this particular segment of products, right? It's going to
Sure.
be anywhere from an independent mortgage banker to a bank or credit union that's in mortgage. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, that's our customer base in mortgage.
And then I think you and I chatted about this a little bit on our discovery call. That you've built this in a way that does bring cost reduction to that lender, right? Maybe talk a little bit
Correct.
about that.
Yeah, so our because we built this data stack from scratch and it was built on like AWS, modern technical infrastructure, using all the latest and greatest tools. What the tools that existed even 5 years ago are so much better today, and we can pass those savings and automation onto our end user. And at the end of the day, what we want to see happen is we found it that if we can build a great relationship on flood with a lot of like a good amount of our customers, they're much more willing to buy our next product.
Sure. Yeah.
So that is like, how do we gain enough critical mass on like loan volume per day? Where if we just add another product, that's kind of like how we will grow this business. And, you know, if we're already making you successful, saving you money, it's
Yeah.
it's a lot easier conversation to have.
No, I love that. I think it's smart to tackle it the way you've tackled it, because everybody has to deal with that flood cert. There's no way around it. You hit the nail on the head initially. That's a regulatory requirement. So um, that's a great market to be in when it's required for every transaction, right? And you kind of earn you earn your relationship and your trust through that product. And then to me, it's logical that there would be the next two, three, four products that would come right behind that that'll be equally beneficial. But when you stack them all together, it becomes a bigger, impactful, opportunity to save cost and time in the process.
Yeah, as an entrepreneur, I just love finding that how do we solve problems efficiently, and I that next product will come where we've already identified a few customers where they have a pain point. If we can build it, will they buy it? And just
Yeah.
iterate on that, like pre-sell as much as I can, and then
Yep.
you kind of that's how I that's how we built the flood product. Um, and I've learned from my past on how to de-risk the idea as much as you can before you invest all the resources.
Right. Makes sense. What else? What else should we share with our audience about Snap? What else is cool about what you guys are up to, and that I didn't know about you until I was introduced to you by a mutual friend. So this is our opportunity to introduce you to a bunch more friends.
Yeah, it's Snap. We're scrappy, hungry. We run, incredibly efficient. Our goal is to like constantly innovate, and I I'm driven by the idea that there's a lot of legacy incumbent players in the space. that I think there's a huge opportunity to disrupt the status quo, and you just got to be persistent. And so building, at the end of the day, it's a relationship game. So you need to pair the relationships with the ability to execute. And so any lenders out there that are frustrated with certain products or they think they could be done better, I'm always open to like learning what else is out there that I don't know about. I'm always like,
Right.
what I don't know, and so that gets me excited. And I think the way tech has come in the last 10 years is exciting, and marrying that with mortgage is exciting for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think the headline still in mortgage is the cost to produce, right? It has only gone up over the last few years, and so I think folks like yourself that can truly come in and find real ways to reduce costs. There's so much opportunity there, and everyone's looking for that, right?
Yeah, I think we have like a 10 like inflation with everything. Costs are only going one way, so
Yeah,
it's an easy sell. You just have to be able to deliver on it. You know, I just look at it there. You have this whole stack of commoditized products to manufacture a mortgage, kind of dominated by legacy players. Picking those off one by one and rebuilding those is like our vision. And just we already have distribution. Why don't we offer a better alternative at a better price if you're getting a better service?
yeah.
So that's plain and simple what we want to do.
Sounds like a pretty good winning strategy to me.
Thank you. Um,
Well, this has been awesome. I like I said, I love to learn about new companies, new people, new products. How do people best get a hold of you and your company?
yeah, look, we'll be, my email is will@snapcorp.com, and you can visit us at snapcorp.com and you can just submit an email. That's probably the easiest way to get a hold of us. You can find me on LinkedIn under Will Caldwell. Pretty receptive there. But that's kind of my story, entrepreneur, tackling the mortgage space. So
Love it. Well, good luck to you, man. It's been great to get to know you and get to know your company and your products. I wish you all the best, and looking forward to seeing you out on the conference circuit that's ahead of us.
thank you, Brian. Thanks for having me.
Well, everybody, thanks for coming back to FinTech Fridays. Join us in 2 weeks for our next episode. Thank you all.